Hello everybody, and this is Leech with Litterbox Gaming. Today, I am hoping to show you not anything pertaining to fighting. No, instead, I'm hoping to be your guide for every resource that you could possibly desire over the course of the 2020 calendar year. With that said, today we're going to be very quick, hopefully cut out a lot of dead space so that we can get on point and get you on track to getting everything that your heart desires. To begin our journey together, we'll start off with iron ore. As you can tell, it has hues of gray with a little bit of red, and in certain angles you'll even see a little touch of gold in corners and subtle nuances. This can be found throughout the map in certain areas to the north, west, and even to the east in large clusters, as well as centrally. You'll also be able to find this in the newer areas just starting out, along cliff edges and working your way up the river sides. If you look at the map attached, you'll see several locations. Feel free to pause as I'll do this with each of the resources as we continue. And that will bring us to coal. Coal can be found throughout the map again, just in slightly less concentrated numbers as other resources. The good thing is you're still going to be able to find it at the bases of cliffs, in between rock faces, and along the riverways as you're heading north from the southern starting points. One of the highest concentration points of obtaining coal is in the central western locations just outside of the large red city. If you take a moment to look at the map that's going to be displayed, you'll see all the locations highlighted. Feel free to pause the video at any time or even bookmark this so that you can always use this resource. Next on our list is Brimstone. You'll find that Brimstone is a much more scarce resource to find throughout the map, but if you look to the west to the Shattered Springs, be wary and make sure that you have your sandstorm mask on to act as a filter, because once you step into the springs themselves, you can become poisoned. But if you see all of these large pointy rocks, those two can be yours. A few other locations we'll show you on the mini map, as well as in the next clip, just so that you have an idea of what to look for in other forms of brimstone. In the east, you'll find your second largest concentration of brimstone in the map. Luckily, you'll find very minimal number of foes you'll have to fight. The only thing you'll have to be conscientious of is maintaining your breath, utilizing a respirator, or using some sort of a breathing potion. Those items aren't necessary though, as long as you just watch your oxygen levels while underwater. If you see these large stalagmite, stalactite formations with the bubbles, you just have to swim down. And instead of picking at these like you would over at the Shattered Springs, you'll see little yellow formations on the ground or rocks, and that will be yours to pick up. Okay, so up next, we're going to combine a few items. Gossamer, Silk, Chitin, and Ichor. These are all resources that you're going to need for certain crafting, and they can easily be found in locations where the spiders are located. So by killing and harvesting the spiders, you can get your chitin and ichor, as well as along the edges of the walls. You'll be able to obtain plenty of gossamer. If you take a moment to look at the map, you'll be able to see all the locations where spider caves can be located. Please note that this isn't the only methodology that you'll be limited to obtain ichor. Crystal can be found outside of caves, like the one found just below the southern aqueducts. So we'll go ahead and take a quick look in. And as you can see here, all you have to do is run up to them and press E. Again, as you can tell, there's some spiders here, so again, great way to get chitin and keratin and ichor. If you check out the mini-map, we'll show you every location that you'll be able to locate crystal at. Please note that there are a little fewer between. Alright, so in front of me you'll see silverstone. This can be found in the west at a location known as the Jawbone, as well as in an adjoining cave. Please note that it's pretty noticeable in comparison to the local rocks, although its abundance is not very high. When you're farming it, you're going to get a lot more stone than you get silver out of it. In front of us you'll see black ice. This can look occasionally like regular ice depending upon what your graphic settings are or even the area. Sometimes ice itself will just kind of have the same textural look. So just be mindful when trying to farm it up. If you're using a black ice pick, you're going to get nothing but black ice. If you're also wanting some ice for your storage chest, cooling chest, or this game's version of refrigerators, or for trips through the volcano, using a lesser tool or a lesser pick will also get you additional ice. If you take a moment to look at the mini-map, you'll see all the locations, including one cave that will have all the black ice you could possibly ever want. This wondrous blue and black rock that you see in front of me, that's kind of like a crystal formation, is obsidian. It can only be found at the volcano areas. The good thing is that it's relatively easy to get, but it will require, one, you have some hot weather gear for traveling around the volcano. Two, some cold weather gear if you can't teleport here in order to make the run. Last but not least, in certain areas, you also want to get yourself a nice mask for sandstorms so you can filter out some of the noxious fumes in some of the areas where you'll see NPCs. And in fact, this is a great location to knock out some of the better named Thralls. And as always, if you look at the mini-map, we'll show you all the locations where you'll be able to find the wondrous metal that is obsidian. Alright, so to find star metal, you want to be in the northwestern location, and you kind of just want to sit around at night and wait for those wonderful shooting stars to appear. Once you've seen your star metal falling from the heavens above, you'll oftentimes see the smoke. Sometimes you won't see it necessarily render in, so you want to look for this like blackish brown rock. Now everybody has their own stylizations as to how they do this, but orbs is probably the easiest way from at least myself. So usually what I'll do is I'll smash a couple of grease orbs, and then one fire orb. If my aim was a little bit better, huh? Now all we need to do is make this burn just hot enough so that it'll pop. Once it's popped, then you take your pick out and have some fun. Usually you see these fall from the sky in clusters of about 6 to 8. And if you search during the daytime and you haven't seen any fall, just be on the lookout along the edges. And also, if you look into the faces of the statues, sides of cliffs where there probably shouldn't be rocks, they'll usually stand out pretty well. There's a few ways you can go about getting feathers. The first way is killing any of the birds or the demon bats. And then simply using a sickle or a skinning knife. You're going to get a lot more feathers via sickle. The next way is, if you look at the map location being shown currently, you can find on top of the cliffs, not far from the starter area, several nests. Now, if you have the armor, as well as the weapons, and at least 3rd tier vitality, the demon bats are probably the easiest way to get a bountiful amount. But this isn't a bad location either. Okay, so to get oil, the only thing you need to do is craft yourself up a fishing basket or a fishing trap. Any location where you can find water at on this map is a prime location to set up your trap, and utilizing the fluid press and exotic fish, given 20 to 60 seconds per, you can come back and voila, you have all the oil you could ever want. We're currently north of the Black Galleon, a favorite spot to farm up some named thralls and get some mediocre loot. If you look at the mini-map here, all around the Black Galleon, you'll see these dead trees. And by utilizing a pick on them, you can get not only bark, but you can also get dry wood, at a pretty good amount. While here, you can also kill the antelopes to get some hide and meat. Whether making aloe soup or just some healing wraps, aloe vera really comes in handy for PvP, PvE, dungeons, exploration, or just thrall camping. In front of me, you'll see one version of aloe vera, and you'll also see a couple other versions where it has like little plumes or orangish yellow plant popping out, like this here. But the location I'm showing you now is super rich in aloe everywhere you look. Simply going through this location, you'll see several pods of aloe throughout, all the way to the waterway and back. To access this location, you can come from this northern waterway. And I'll even zoom in on my map so you can see this a little clearly. Follow this ravine through, and you can hit any of these pathways, or coming up from J, you'll see what looks like a bad sock puppet or Nessie, and we can just go across the water, follow this shoreline around, and then just follow the pathway up. So in the spirit of doing things faster, smarter, and not harder, we'll discuss one of the other mini materials that you'll need, which is resin. Now, you can get bark and your wood from any of the trees throughout this game. But up north, utilizing a pick, if we were to tag a couple of these trees, you'll find that not only will we start getting bark, wood, but we'll also get resin. This will help you out with getting some of the resin up already that you need, while obtaining bark and additional wood that you could dry out in a dryer to obtain more resin. We're over here at the Bay of Hawks, shown here on the map. And what we're over here for is volatile glands. So you can kill in the newer areas imps for volatile glands, but you only get 1 to 2 based upon the server XP. Over here, you can get several just by simply quickly killing them. And then skinning them. You can also use a pick or a hatchet. I tend to use the skinning knife just for the fact it gives us an opportunity to also build up on some of those reptile skins. While over here, another good factor is you can obtain that yellow lotus blossoms. That way you can make your restart potions. Nice, quick, simple, easy, one-stop shop for not one item, but a few items for recipes that you'll want. So hopefully this guide helps you out, and if you have any questions, if there's something that's been left out or something that you're just really curious about, feel free to comment down below. If this has been a help, feel free to go ahead and bookmark this, as I'll be trying to set some quick links up within the video so you can quickly access what you're looking for and move about your business. Also, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button because your support helps us out. Ginge and I both check this regularly, so again, any questions or anything you'd like to see in the future, feel free to ask.